What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So we have another episode of This Week in Warframe. We're going over the entire weekly reset and what you can expect as a Warframe player this week. We have a couple new things this week, such as the new event Ephemera, level 2, just got unlocked, and we have a new Prime Resurgence with Necros Prime and Hero Prime. This is the second or third time I'm recording this now. One of the items for the weekly reset is actually not working for me, so I'll just go ahead and explain that out loud. So let's get right into it. But before we do, make sure you sub this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads. Lots of build videos coming up next week for Ember and some other frames too, so you're in the right place for Warframe content. Also, check out the live stream channel. We recorded these live on stream, and yeah, we'll be doing a bunch of the weekly reset missions tonight as well, so come on, stop by, basically. Alright, so let's go over the first thing for the weekly reset, and this is the thing that actually glitched out for me. It's supposed to be 30,000 endo at Teshin, but for some reason I don't get the 30,000 endo this week, so yeah, it's supposed to be like right here, 30,000 endo. I think it's for like 50 or 75 steel essence, not sure the exact number, but yeah, either way, 30,000 endo is supposed to be here. It's not here for me, whatever. So let's go ahead and look at the new ephemera. And apparently it's 150 steel essence, so yeah, not really worth it. The new ephemera, this just got unlocked today, the Aspirus Emergent Ephemera. So it's the level 2 version of the event ephemera. It's going to cost you 40 volatile motes to get this thing if you think it's actually looking good. The level 3 version, well, since we just unlocked this one last week, this one this week, it'll probably take about one more week to get this third level ephemera. And there you go. That'll be the last thing from the event that'll be unlocked. It's the last ephemera level.
All right.
Alright, so that's going to be available for him for volatile motes. And you're going to have a while to buy that, so no big rush. The event is still going for a while, so yeah. As far as the rest of the stuff happening this week, beyond the new ephemera, on Thursday you have Necros Prime and Hero Prime going to be unvaulted, and their weapons will be the Scourge Prime, the Nell Prime, the Galatine Prime, and the Tigris Prime. So, nothing super meta, but Necros Prime is really nice to have, Hero Prime is nice to have. And Nell Prime can get some pretty good damage in there too, so worth getting most of that stuff, but not really like amazing. For Archides Weekly's wares, let's see what we got over here.
Drifter.
Okay, so reminder to know we have a permanent new item here, the Aura Worm Arena Simulacrum. But as far as the weekly rotating stuff here, we've got an Exilus Weapon Adapter for 20 Pathos, a Forma Blueprint for 10 Pathos, a Melee for 15 Pathos, 5k Cupid for 10 Pathos, and a Exilus Warframe Adapter for 20 Pathos. So not really any adapters, or not really any reactors or anything like that in here, so not an amazing week for Archides.
This place is in the state it's in when there's a child.
Yeah, it is going to be 90% when the last ephemera gets unlocked, not 100%. So like the last 10% of the event, I don't even know what's the purpose of that really, but yeah, either way. And a reminder too, if you haven't been not paying attention to every news video, the Owl Archon's actually glitched out until further notice, so we're going to be only having the Wolf Archon and the Snake Archon for like over the next month. But yeah, the Archon hunt is going to be the Wolf Archon with red Archon shards, mission types, mobile defense, normal defense, and the final boss showdown. I got a 60% drop rate on that. Moving on to the Elite Archimedian Weekly, let's see what we got here. And they did make the negative duration modifier less terrible in the JHS update. It's now at minus 50% overall duration, not minus 75% like the previous update.
Samples over here.
Alright, so let's see what we got over here at Lloyd. Looks like there's not really people actually running this right now. But as far as the mission types, let's see what we got. Oh, Gear Embargo. I can already see that Gear Embargo potentially giving some problems with no Spectres, but we've got Survival, Disruption, and Alchemy. So you got a pretty annoying one this week already mission type-wise. As far as your modifiers, the first one for Survival, the Life Support Delivery System is disabled. Necromax spawn every 90 seconds and drop 6 life support modules when killed. So, no life support towers, you have to kill mechs constantly. So be able to kill a bunch of mechs, basically, for doing this. Second modifier, Vampire Limitus. Your favorite Vampire Limitus have returned, and you're going to be surrounded by mechs and Limitus now. Slow-moving Vampire Limitus will drain your health and energy when you get too close. So be aware of that, they are pretty deadly. And the last one, Devil's Bargain. Allies within 4 meters of a slight enemy gain increased fire rate, but have reduced ammo efficiency. So that doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters here is going to be the first two modifiers, no life support towers, and Vampire Limitus. For the second mission, Disruption, you're going to have Engorged Gruzzlings. All Gruzzlings are Eximus. That basically just means ignore the Gruzzling, basically. The Gruzzling Eximus is really tanky, and it is a guaranteed extra key, but the amount of time you'll be shooting that Gruzzling Eximus is probably not going to be worth it in the grand scheme of things. You'd just be better killing normal enemies to get the keys normally. And thankfully, there's no modifier this week. The enemies will target the conduits. It's just going to be slight enemies explode with a void energy explosion, which apparently, I think they made that easier with the Jade Shadows update as well, so pretty straightforward. And the elite Archimedean modifier, all enemies at Overguard equal to 50% of their maximum health. So pretty tanky enemies. And dude, that Gruzzling Eximus is going to be disgusting. If that Overguard stacks with the already Eximus Overguard, just don't even bother with the Gruzzling Eximus, honestly. Just leave the Gruzzling Eximus alone. And for the final mission, Alchemy, you're going to have modifiers of hazardous goods. The M4 grenades will inflict their associated elemental damage while being carried. So toxin grenades will go through your shields and toxin proc you. Alluring Archonids. As rogue Archonids charge their attacks, like the dog robots, they will pull enemies, or they'll pull Warframes in towards them, which could actually hit you pretty hard. And then the last one, Myopic Munitions. Enemies will only take damage if a player is within 15 meters of them. So yeah, basically melee range strats. For the individual modifiers, you got Gear Embargo, so that means no Spectres, no nothing allowed. Secondary Wounds. Gain 1 puncture status effect every time you take damage. That reduces your outgoing damage. Knife Step Syndrome. Lose 2 health while moving. Jumping will pause the effect. And, ooh, this is a pretty rough one. Transference Distortion. Transference into Operator and Drifter is blocked. So you have Gear Embargo and Transference Distortion. That's just not fun at all. So you can't use Operator or Gear for this week. So yeah, they definitely want you to be working for it this week with these long missions and these annoying modifiers. But it looks like my gear is not too terrible, so I could maybe get some of this stuff done here. Either way, good luck getting your Tau shards and all that from your Elite Archimedian. And as far as Bird 3 shard,
Hope you're having a lovely day.
we got an Amber shard at Bird 3 for 30,000 rep. Reminder too, if you haven't played since the Jade Shadows update, the Elite Archimedian gives you 15k rep, and the normal Netracells give you 5k rep. So you can get this 30,000 rep just from doing your Elite Archimedian and your Netracells for the week. Yeah, not that hard to get that actually. Alright, moving on to Duviri stuff. Now, here's a fun thing for Duviri. Since we got the full auto changes for Incarnons, some of the Incarnons that were semi-auto before actually feel a lot better than before now, so we're doing pretty good with those. But as far as the new Duviri stuff, let's see what we got for the normal circuit. We got Mesa, Chroma, and Atlas. These are all frames that I believe come from quests. You get Mesa from Infested LFV, which does require keys to farm him, so pretty annoying. Chroma, this one comes from a quest, but also building him requires parts of different Warframes like Volt, Saren, and Frost, I think. Maybe even Ember. So it can be a little bit annoying to farm Chroma, but his main blueprint comes from a quest. And then for Atlas, this requires farming an Archwing boss fight and doing a quest as well. So yeah, as far as the most annoying one to farm, it's probably going to be Mesa, because unlike these other boss fights, this requires a key to farm the Muleless LFV, which is pretty annoying. So I'd say maybe go for Mesa this week. Her Helminth is pretty good too. But for Chroma and for Atlas, you know, they're both kind of annoying to farm as well. But I'd say the most annoying one to farm is going to be Mesa overall. So I'd probably go for Mesa if I were you. And got Mesa's Waltz as my rank up augment. That's a pretty good one for Mesa. Although that augment is RNG. But yeah, for the Steel Path Incarnons, this is the ones that I actually want to talk a little bit more about today. But just a reminder though, if you haven't played in a while, we got Kuva and Rivens as options instead of these Incarnons. You'd rather prefer to pick those. But yeah, I actually might go for a second Leto Incarnon today because of some of these changes. But let's go over what we have. So we got the Bratton Incarnon. The Incarnon form of this thing becomes exploding bullets with good crit and pretty good status too. It's got not the best fire rate though. So if you have the Bursting Incarnon, this thing's just a slower version of it with higher damage per shot. I would not really recommend it that much, but if you do want to have a powerful full auto primary, it can get the job done for sure. Some of the top tier Incarnons can give you increased critical chance and critical damage or status chance as well. So pretty decent, but just not top tier. New one, or not new one, but I've been newly using this thing again, the Leto Incarnon. Think of this as a very mini version of the Dual Toxicist. But here's the great part. The Dual Toxicist Rivens cost like 300 plat for an unrolled one. The unrolled Rivens for this thing cost like 15 plat. So what do you get in return? You get a weapon that has the Incarnon form giving punch through and ricochet on the Incarnon form. Basically let you hit a ton of enemies. And with the Death Trap trigger Incarnon perk, you can get a ton of extra crit chance and crit damage when you swap to this weapon. It can make you red crit one-shot maximum level enemies with the Leto, so it's pretty funny. And now it's full auto with the full auto changes. You just fire the shots as quickly as possible. So yeah, really nice. I have a video on it recently. Also on On kill, 50% chance to instantly reload the magazine. This thing can be very nice, and I'm actually going to try it on the Leto normal, I think, in the near future, because I have it on the Leto Vandal right now. But yeah, a nice secondary, but again, not meta. The dual toxis is definitely better than it, but it's got cheaper ribbons. For the Skana Incarnon, it's just a pretty powerful sword, basically. The Incarnon form of this thing hardly even exists. But when you Incarnon transform this thing, it will do an AoE blinding finisher. And I think after you do a finisher, it will release more blinding finishers. Yeah, after you do a finisher attack, you stun nearby enemies. So yeah, it's like a stun chaining thing with finishers. Can be kind of fun. But yeah, it's mainly just a really high stat sword, honestly. So I'd recommend the Prisma Skana here. You're not going to have the Skana Prime unless you're an original founder. Same with the Leto Prime. But yeah, it's an okay weapon. It's good for like endo farming, cutting up some enemies. But beyond that, just a good sword. If you got the Broken War, you can probably skip this one. And the Paris Incarnon, probably one of the best ones this week, in my opinion. It's a really powerful, high-status chance bow. And just like the Dread last week, this thing becomes railgun arrows in the Incarnon form. You can basically take an entire hallway of enemies. But unlike the Dread, this one's got a special augment mod called Visage Ball that gives you a ton of extra status chance. And it's actually an Exilus mod that increases your status chance. So on my Paris, I've got 200 plus status chance and 200 plus crit chance. It's amazing for hybrid builds. The really good one here is going to be Elemental Balance, getting 60% base critical chance increase, which is nuts, because you can throw on Visage Ball and all those status chance mods to get ridiculous status chance on this thing. I'd highly recommend it. But yeah, it's just a bow at the end of the day, a railgun arrow bow with really high stats. And for the final one this week, we got the Kunai Incarnon. There's only a Mark 1 Kunai and a Kunai normal. Hopefully we get a Kunai Prime someday, but yeah, not yet. As far as the top tier Incarnons and what this thing does, when an Incarnon transforms, it becomes a high multi-shot, like, headshot seeker. It's homing headshot bullets from across the room, and it hits really hard. Just like the Leto, we have Death Trap Trigger on here, giving a massive increase to crit chance and crit damage. You can get red crits and one-shot level 10,000s with this thing, no problem. But yeah, the rest of the stuff too, it's very good for Ivara specifically. While you have a channeled ability active, plus 100% multi-shot. Not too bad, because if you're using a frame like Ivara, you'll be invisible with her channeled ability, so. As far as the best recommendations this week, it's actually one of the weakest weeks of Incarnons overall, but I'd say whatever is looking interesting to you. Do you need a new pistol? The Leto is definitely worth trying out again, now that it is full auto with changes. That could be great. Do you need a powerful bow? This is probably one of the best bows in the game, easily, the Paris Incarnon. But yeah, these are all just kind of like, not the most exciting. I'd say whatever one sounds the best to you. Full auto powerful primary with fire damage. Powerful pistol you swap to here and there for red crits. Pretty good there. A powerful sword, probably the lowest priority this week, one of the lowest priorities this week, that can blind nearby enemies, or a powerful bow that can take down an entire hallway, or a single target one-shot kunai. I'd say if I was to like pick these from the ground up, but still having all the knowledge I have, I'd probably go for like Leto and Paris, I guess. But really, guys, it's as long as you pick something that's not like, as long as it's useful to you, that's all that really matters this week. This is a lower tier week overall. But yeah, hope that was helpful to you. I'm moving on to the Nightwave. A lot of us have actually completed the Nightwave at this point. I mean, I'm not level 30, I'm level 29 technically, but about level 30. This armor set's pretty ugly to me, but yeah. Nightwave's basically done for me, but there's plenty of time. Nightwave's not going anywhere, so you got plenty of time to max this out. As far as your Nightwave challenges, good friend help Clem with his weekly mission. Pretty straightforward. Fly your Kaith for 1,500 meters is your other normal weekly, so you do that on Duviri, you can do that on the open worlds if you have the intrinsic unlocked. Just pretty much ride your horse. Then for your elite weeklies, you got Day Trader, win 3 wagers in a row without letting enemies score once in the index. Pretty annoying, but if you want that rep, you gotta do it. I'd recommend frames like Revenant, I'm pretty sure Equinox Duality can also work pretty well here nowadays, but yeah, if you've played index before, this shouldn't be too difficult, just a little bit more annoying than you doing a normal index run. And the other elite weekly is to kill the Exploiter Orb. That is the big blue and green spider. The fight really is not fun. I don't think I have any Diluted Thermia left either, so yikes. But yeah, at least the Diluted Thermia event is actually currently up right now. But either way, not a great fight, but if you want to get that Nightwave rep, you gotta do it. And you get your permanent weeklies here, killing Eximus, completing missions, and killing just generic enemies. For your Nightwave cred store here, let's see what we got after they change my sorting as usual. Got evergreen stuff at the top as always. And you got some helmets. Any helmets here look enticing to you, go ahead and grab them. And we got a lot of aura mods. What is this? How many aura mods is that? Is that 9 aura mods? What the heck? Usually got like 4 of them. Okay, we got 9 aura mods this week. So there's inevitably going to be a good one here. Alright, you got Rejuvenation, Holster Amp, Shield Disruption, Enemy Radar, Deadeye, Pistol Scavenger, Rifle Scavenger, Rifle Amp, and Sniper Scavenger. Okay, so funny enough, actually most of these are really bad. As far as like actual good ones that are here, you got Holster Amp being pretty good for buffing damage when you swap weapons. Very good with that Death Trap trigger we were talking about with the Incarnons. You got Enemy Radar to see enemies better through walls. Can be helpful when you're like nuking. But for the rest of this stuff, I mean, Rejuvenation's good for newer players, I guess. These are kind of bad aura mods, especially like Rifle Scavenger and like Sniper Scavenger. So maybe just pick up like Enemy Radar and Holster Amp if you even want to get those. Steel Charge and like Corrosive Protection are used a lot more than these are. And as far as Mastery Fodder, we've got the Glaive Normal, we've got the Plasma Sword, and we got the Pangolin Sword. Now, these Wolf Beacons right here, they did buff the Wolf recently, guys. If you need the Wolf Sledge, which is extremely powerful in the current patch, the drop rate of the Wolf Sledge parts is now guaranteed. The Wolf will drop a guaranteed weapon part on every kill now. So if you want to get that Wolf Sledge from the previous video, like from like last week, you can farm it not as difficult as you would think. I think the Wolf Sledge motor is still lower drop rate, but yeah, you're getting a guaranteed weapon part on every Wolf kill now. So you can buy these beacons and not feel as bad about it. 50 Nightwave credits per beacon is a little bit steep, though. And as far as your Conclave Augment mods, you got Recharge Bearer for Volt, Rumble for Atlas, and Decepticon for Loki. That's basically going to be your weekly reset, guys. You're going to have your new Resurgence on Thursday with Necros and Harrow, but that's not until Thursday, so... yeah, it's basically going to be all for the video. Hope you guys find it fun and helpful. Oh, it didn't do the invigorations. Yeah, so as far as other things happening in Warframe this week, I think there's not going to even really be any main like prime time streams. So you're just kind of like waiting for TennoCon at this point, which will be on July 20th. But as far as our invigorations, let's see what we got. Reminder, these are random per player, per week. So just because I have Loki, Lavos, and Protea doesn't mean that you have Loki, Lavos, and Protea. And if you do have Loki, Lavos, and Protea, you might have different stats on the invigorations than I do. So let's get right into what we have. Alright, starting off with Loki, we got an increased ability range by 100% and 75% sprint speed. That's pretty good for a speedster Loki. You switch teleport enemy really far away, and you have a speed multiplier after that, and then sprint speed as well. Seems pretty good for Loki specifically. For Lavos, we got melee damage and reload speed. Those things don't go really well together, but melee damage is kind of nice. And for Protea, ooh, that's good on Protea. 100% increased ability duration. And the 5 jump resets isn't as useful, but hey, duration on Protea means longer heat turret duration, which means higher heat turret damage overall, so I'm pretty happy with that one. Either way, guys, hope you found this video fun and helpful. I'll see you with another build video tomorrow, and if you want to come by the live stream, we'll be doing we'll be live streaming these new events and alerts and all that stuff, so come on, stop by. See you guys next time. Peace!